Okay, hi Lynn. So welcome to the session today. Thank you for spending a little bit of time coming to the session today. Here is a informed consent form. So before we start, we'll be looking into the informed consent form first. So I'll do a little bit of explanation. Basically, this is a part of my assignment for psychological intervention too. So purpose of the counseling session is of course to benefit the both of us, and then just would like to remind you about the confidentiality part. So you don't have to worry, so we respect your privacy and also confidentiality very much. So in the counseling session, nothing will be shared out to any third party except my supervisor and also myself for research purposes. Right, before we get into more detailed things, just would like to introduce myself. So my name is Alicia. So I'll be your student counselor of the day. And we'll work together for a few sessions depending on your needs. And we'll work together just to achieve your goals. Again, it's not about giving advice. So yes, I hope through this session we can work some things out. So yes, let's go back to you. Okay, so Lynn, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
Yes, good?
Yes, just good.
Okay. Your name is Lynn by L-Y-N-N?
Yes,
Right.
LYNN.
Okay, L-Y-N-N. And then may I know your age?
I'm 26 this year.
Okay. And your occupation?
I'm a teacher.
You
I'm
are
a teacher.
a teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Lynn. So, would you like to tell me more about yourself? Like what brings you here today?
Okay. The reason why I'm here today, mainly because I face some stress at work, as well as I don't know how to express this, but basically I'm doubting my career path a little bit at the moment, because for now I'm quite I would say out of track, but I'm considering quitting this job actually, like quitting teaching actually. And at the moment I feel like teaching maybe is not for me, maybe.
I see. So just now when you said out of track, right, Lynn, and before you said you were a teacher and things like that. So when you mean by out of track, you feel like quitting as in you want to quit your teaching career, or you want to quit the job in your specific workplace right now?
I think mainly quitting my workplace right now, but at the same time I'm also doubting myself whether I'm qualified to be a teacher.
Did anything happen recently that made you feel like you might not be qualified to be a teacher anymore?
So just a bit of background, I'm currently teaching in an international school. So I would say this is my first job. So every night I will stress myself to like try my best to come up with the lesson plan, but every night I will stress myself out, and sometimes I will end up crying.
Okay. How long is the duration of your cry?
How long the duration of the cry? Normally I will say.
So let me clarify here. You ran to your friends for an hour. After that, you go to shower and then only you cry.
No. When ranting to my friends, I cry as well.
So when you are in your campus, I would say, when you are interacting with your colleagues, do you find any difficulties while doing this?
Yes.
Okay. Can you specify the difficulties? Can you elaborate more on them?
Okay. So mainly in my international school, we have most of my colleagues, they are from United Kingdom, so they are expert.
Okay.
Yeah, the international teachers, they will have a group, like they will only mingle with the teachers that are from UK.
Okay.
And also the local teacher, they will only gather or talk within the local teacher. So pretty much the dynamic is like that in the international school. So there are two separate group of teachers.
Would you say that is racism?
I wouldn't say it's racist, but I feel that we both parties, they have different way of teaching the students.
So about the lesson, would you like to specify on how is it different locally and also I would say globally, which is presented by the white?
Okay. For example, I'll give you an example. So recently it happens where
Okay, so how did you feel when this happened? Like with everything happening around you right now, how do you feel about it?
first of all, I feel that I don't know, I feel like somehow I'm not enough, in a sense that when you have international teachers, why would they want a local teachers to teach English, right? So that's my mindset.
Okay, so aside from feeling like you're not good enough because of how your students questions and things like that, do you ever feel anything else aside from you being not good enough? More towards your emotions.
Yes, like I said, I'll feel that I'm not enough, I'm not qualified as a teacher. So at times I'll feel very down.
Okay. So how long would you describe this frequency of being depressed?
I would say almost, I think every day in school and after school, I'll feel very down.
Okay, Lynn. Sorry to cut you off. On a scale of 1 to 10, from 1 being the least depressed and from 10 being the most depressed, how would you rate your scale of feeling depressed?
I would say 7.
Okay. What about stress?
Stress, I think I'll rate it 9.
Okay.
It's pretty high. Yeah, 9 out of 10.
Okay. So now let's talk about more of your medical conditions. Okay, so welcome back to the session, Lynn. How do you feel today?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. So remember last session I did mention about how I'm going to do a little bit of assessments. Again, it's not a test, don't worry. It's just an assessment just to let me have a brief idea of how is your depression and anxiety look like. Okay, if it's in the assessment scale. Okay, so today again we're going to do 2 things. One is called GAD-7, okay, basically called general anxiety, okay. So and also the other one is Beck's depression inventory, okay. So let's start with the GAD-7 first. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the GAD-7 questionnaire, okay. So I'm going to pass it to you. I'm going to do a little bit of brief explanation. So the GAD-7 is testing for anxiety again. So you just need to circle. So now we proceed with the depression inventory, okay? So this one will be slightly longer, similar as the anxiety scale. Basically, you need to circle your score as well. And it's also how you feel over the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, so again, it's 2 pages. So after doing the assessment scale, how do you feel?
Okay, I think I can relate to some of the question asked.
Okay, so since we are done with the assessment, can I go back and ask you a little bit more questions that we missed during our last session?
Yes, sure.
Okay. All right, Lynn. Now, so before we end, I would just like to introduce you something called the breathing technique. Okay.
Okay.
So again, there are many types of breathing technique. I believe you heard a lot. Like people might be teaching you this or that, this or that. But again, breathing techniques is really individual and personalized. So you have to keep trying in order to know which one suits you the best. So breathing technique actually helps to relax. Okay, and also, okay, so I'll give you this piece of paper. Today I'll be teaching you something called the box breathing technique. Okay, so it works for many individuals, but again, it's very personalized. You can try in order to know if it works for you. Okay, so basically, how you do this is you start by drawing a box. Okay, so what you're gonna do is start from this point to this point to this point to this point. What I like to tell my clients about is when you draw a box, many people have different ways of drawing a box, but in this way, we go one shot to the end. For example, okay, we start from this point, we breathe in, then we draw a line. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you pause. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hi Lynn. So our third session together. Today at a completely different location. Hope you are okay with it.
Yes, I'm okay.
Alright. So how do you feel? Relaxed? Okay? Ready for the session?
Yes.
Okay. You look anxious today. Did anything happen?
Yes, actually something did happen. So today I found out that I wasn't getting paid as I supposed to. So I'm quite disappointed in a sense. Yeah. So I'm quite disappointed. Like they agree on something, but now is they're telling a completely different thing. So I feel a bit cheated. So that's why I feel a bit not that good today.
Did you try to communicate with the HR or whoever that's paying you?
Yes, I tried to communicate with the HR, but so originally when
Okay, so since we addressed those issues already, do you remember that we did the assessment last week?
yes.
Okay, so I have the results of your assessment now. I'm just going to briefly talk about it. So again, for the GAD7, we have your assessment score at 20, which indicates severe anxiety.
Oh,
Yes. Okay, so it's okay. Again, we'll work on that together. We'll look into the BDI, okay? So again, for the BDI, your score is at 41, severe depression as well.
oh.
Yeah, so do you have anything to say?
No, I think I pretty much know how I feel. So that's why I'm also trying to work on it.
Lynn, today after what we've discussed earlier and also getting a little bit more of information from you, right? Today I plan to do something called the thought log with you. Okay? So the thought log is basically recording your thoughts. As easy as that. So I've gave you a few examples here, okay? So the thought log basically consists of event, thought, consequences, and also your rational statement. Alright? So basically event is what happened today. For example, what you mentioned today is your HR didn't pay you. So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, what are my thoughts on it? I feel cheated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
To not jump into conclusion too quickly, and also just not to be angry at that moment. Okay, maybe try to talk nicely with the HR and try to figure out why they don't pay me. Okay, what is the reason behind it, and see what can we do about it.
Okay. So again, when you write down, you jot down whatever that is happening to you or whatever event that's happening to you, you get a chance to reflect back and look at this paper. When you look at this paper, okay, when you see your rational thoughts, how do you feel?
I feel more calm, like as in I can think rationally on what I can do next instead of feeling sad or like angry, but now I can at least come up with a solution in a sense.
Okay, Lynn. So today we'll be doing something called the career value. It's not really a test, but we are exploring on those career values. Okay. So I've prepared a tablet. Okay. So it's a website. Okay. Just a brief explanation on the value exercise. Okay. So we are just gonna explore like what your values are in your career and how can this bring you forward. Basically, there's a deck of 51 cards. All of them are values. There are a little bit of explanation down there. You can read it, okay?
Okay.
So, what you're going to do is, there is a deck called discard pile and there's a deck called keep pile. Whatever you think your value is that you would like to keep it, you can put it in a keep pile by pressing this button. Just press this side. So, if you want to discard them, just press this side. Okay? Alright. Okay. So let's look into your top 5 values. So your value is health, freedom, relationship, family, and also friendship. So throughout these values, what we're going to do now, we're going to identify your committed actions through these values, okay? I'll give you an example. For example, if my value was justice, okay? So what are my committed actions for the current week is I can speak to a mentor about what happened at work. For example, like you approaching me is also a form of justice which matches with your values, okay? Another example, if my value was courage, right? Okay, I can apply to teaching a class that feels very intimidating, okay? So that is also a sign of how I apply my values in my workplace. Okay, so let's look into how you can apply your. So just for like a bit of feedback from you, how do you feel?
I feel great.
Like after all these sessions?
Yes.
Okay, so do you remember 5 weeks ago, you've mentioned that your depressed and stress scale was 7 and 9? Okay, now if I were to give you that scale again, with 1 being the less depressed and 10 being the most depressed, how would you rate your depression scale?
Maybe 3, 4.
Wow, that's very, very a big improvement.
Yeah.
And what made you change that rating?
First of all, like the technique you teach me previously, especially the boxing breathing skill, it really helps me, especially when I feel like it's too overwhelmed in class and things like that. I will use that, okay, during my free time. I'll draw that box whenever I'm free, and it really helped me to calm myself down, okay, and I'll think that okay, everything will be okay at the end of the day.
What about the value committed actions?
Yes, for the values that you shared with me during our previous meeting, I find it very, very good because I think previous session we categorize a few values, especially when it comes to relationships and friendship and also health. So when I go back after our session, I went back, I think of focusing on my health basically. And
Thanks for sharing a very insightful message, and thank you for giving me very, very valuable feedback as well, Lim.
Yeah.
So since just now you still did mention that at times you still feel quite stressed and box breathing might not be really able to calm you down, I would like to introduce you the 5-4-3-2-1 method before we... So what we call 5-4-3-2-1 here is also a relaxation method. Okay, basically it's a part of the grounding technique. Okay, so 5-4-3-2-1, I'll guide you in this, okay? So relax your body, sit back, relax, yeah? Okay, shove your shoulders back, just take a deep breath in, okay? Just prepare for what we'll have to do now.
Alright.
So again, it's very easy. I'll guide you in this, okay? So 5-4-3-2-1 is basically 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you smell, and 1 thing you taste. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to take part in this session. I hope you actually gain a lot of insight and at least gain, a few workable, a few effective methods, I would say, to help you manage your depressed and also anxiety, But again, these things doesn't stop here. Thought locks, or whatever I taught you, the breathing method, the 5-4-3-2-1, you can do it anytime you want, right?
Yes.
But for example, 5-4-3-2-1, you might not be able to do it in work, you can do it box breathing. 5-4-3-2-1 can do it after work instead. Yeah? So it's very flexible. So I hope you still incorporate these methods, after you don't see me anymore. And also, if there's anything that you would like to approach me for help, please do.
Yes, I will.
All right.
Thank you so much for the session.
All right. Thank you so much, Lynn. So we shall end here.